Hi guys, it's been a long time since I've made any video on YouTube. So today here it goes, and I would like to thank one of my friend who motivated me to make this video. So she wanted to know about how my 1 year at IIM Indore looked like, and what all subjects and courses that we covered. So I've made a list of everything, and I'll try to cover as much as I can in this video, and I'll show you all what all subjects were there and how like the timetable and all looked like. So let's begin. So firstly, the first term. I believe first term was one of the most hectic term in your entire MBA journey, because in the first term you're just new to the college and college environment, so you're learning about a lot of new things and getting into a B school environment, and it is really, if you say, it's very kind of competitive because everyone over here is very smart and very intelligent. Everybody has cleared CAT and scored really good marks. So it's like constant comparison between all of you. But once you get done with the first term, you get to understand a lot of things, and I believe it had made me a more stronger person than what I was before. So, and why first term is also hectic, because you have this thing in B schools called summer internships, which you do in between the break of first year and the second year, which is generally of 2 months. So, for that, the company starts coming in the first term as only. So, in the first term, there is like a lot of pressure on the students that they have to uh, also get a summer internship, because initially good companies come, and then like the quality of the companies that come becomes a little deteriorated. So the first term is anyways academically heavy. We have, I think, 9 or 10 subjects in first term, and then in the evening you have placement meetings and all of the things like that. So it's usually very power packed, and people do get very intimidated in the first term because it's like a lot to do. But then once you're sorted with your summer internship and all, things become a lot more easier. So in first term we have subjects like FAC, financial accounting and control. I find this subject really difficult because first thing, I'm not from a fin background or commerce background. I was a PCM in my 12th 11th 12th, and then I did statistics honors. So I literally have no idea about accounting and all, so everything was new. But we also had things like the senior batch, the second year batch, people like who are the toppers of the class. They teach you, we called as STP, like something like that. So they give you a session. So that thing helped me a lot to understand a lot of things about finance, being from a non-fin background. But first term finance is like a very basic level, so it's not even very high level. And then the next subjects that we have is managerial communication. So this subject doesn't have a final end term exam. It's mostly around how you speak and how is your English and how is your communication etiquettes. And they teach you very basic things, like if you're going to a corporate environment, how you're going to deal with that thing. So managerial communication is all about your personality, and I felt like I really got good marks in managerial communication, because I felt like that I was someone who can speak a lot. And YouTube also helped me a lot in this, because I have a habit of talking, so I was never nervous in the class, and I used to give CP. What is CP? Okay, CP is class participation. So in MBA you also have this thing called class participation. If you're attending any class, so you get extra marks for it. And if you're speaking in the class, if you're showing your point of view, if you have read the case study, you have case studies that you have to read before it, before coming to the class. And if you read the case study well, and if you're able to add your point of view and your suggestion to the case and speak in the class, you get extra points in your like overall. And communication was mostly CP focused, and there was more like extempore. They give a topic, and in a minute you have to prepare and speak in a minute. And then there was role play, so you get a concept of the storyline, and you have to express how will you express that, portraying a role play. And it's all about communication, as the subject says. And then we have IPS. IPS is Introduction to Probability and Statistics. So this is very math and stat heavy. So people who have statistics background like me have a little bit of edge over it because we have done the same things in the undergraduation. But again, the IPS that we study here is more like again managerial perspective and management perspective, MBA one, not the statistics that we study in undergrad like derivation and all. They were not there. You just have to solve question, and it was more practical based than the theoretical based statistics. Next we have operations management. It is again like people who have done BBA or business background, they might have a edge over it. I found OM1 a little difficult because it was a new subject to me again, but it was a very interesting subject because it in this we study a lot about real life, like supply chains of the company and real life problems we solve. So it would be a good subject for the people who are going to the operations and supply chain domain. Next, we have industry awareness, which is a one credit course. In this, we only have to like pick up one industry, and in that industry, you just have to make a, a presentation, and you have to show like how that industry is doing overall and how it is. For example, our group selected electric vehicle, EV, and we did all the analysis around that industry and how is it going and all. And then we have marketing management, MM1. So was more like it was theoretical, it doesn't have a lot of math, but in exam you got like very basic mathematical question as well. In this marketing, again, as it says it, we have to study about any case study, the marketing of any company or anything. Like for example, we study about Nirdosh, a cigarettes case study, and then we studied about um, a lot more companies and their how their marketing strategy and how is their like growth. And there were many things like STP, segmentation, targeting, and positioning, and a lot of fin terms. You basically in an MBA school you just learn a lot of new terms, fancy English to express your point of view. And then we have microeconomics. Again, people with economics background could have done really good over there. uh, it is again like you study about the micro economics over here. And then one we have SMOD. Full form of SMOD is spreadsheet modeling. So in this we have learned basic Excel and like pivot table and a lot of Excel things in it, which gave us an idea about like mostly when you join any corporate companies, Excel is the most basic thing that any company asks. So it was a subject over there. And yeah, so those were the subjects, and usually the class is 75 minutes, so which is a long time. You have to sit at the same place and listen to the professor, and the best way to survive this is to just read the cases beforehand. And once you're like really good prepared with it, you're able to speak in the class. You will not feel that 75 minutes is very heavy. You will be able to engage in the class and speak a lot, and it will be not a boring class, and you will feel like the time just passed away. So the best way to survive is this. If you don't study and go to class, you'll feel bored, you'll feel like how long is this period. But yeah. And next, let's move to the second term. So in second term, we have subjects like BECSR, the full form is Business Ethics and Corporate Social Responsibility. So we read about cases and companies and their ethical point of view in this, if they have done the ethical thing or not. And there are a lot of terminologies new that we learn here as well. And then we have critical reading and analytical writing, which was also one of my favorite subjects in the B school. So we've studied about things like how when you read a case, how you can take out points and things from it and make an analytical understanding of it, reading part and also writing. You have to write reports on this. So in exam also we were given like a 5-6 pages case. You have to read it beforehand, and then you have to go and write an analysis summary of the entire case. So that is all about CRAW. And then we have a subject called entrepreneurial orientation. It was again a very interesting subject, but it was only a one credit course. Why EO is interesting? Because um like we all know that people join B school for a placement, but there are people who also want to do business, or they have an entrepreneurial mind. So in this subject also, the professor really puts a lot of pressure on your mind to think about beyond how can you start a business, how can you do something new which can like change, like something innovative idea. So uh, they give you a push that you can also start a business maybe at some point of time. And then we have finance one. This is more finance based, but this is not accounting, this is theoretical finance. You learn about ratios and all in this. WAC, weighted average, I just forgot the word, sorry. And then we have IQDM, Intro to Quantitative Decision Making. This is again mathematical and operational in nature. And then we have ISM. ISM is Information Systems for Managers. So this is mostly tech based. So people with tech based were able to give a lot of CP class participation in this, because if you know anything about computers and backend of it, it's very useful for that. And then we have MAC, Managerial Accounting and Control. So MAC is again a very fin heavy and accounting heavy. If you have an accounting background, this will be a very good plus point for you. And then we have macroeconomics. In first term we learn micro, here it will be macro, which is like a larger economical entity. And then we have MM2, marketing, the second part of marketing. And MM2 is more mathematical heavy. MM1 was more theoretical and like conceptual and ideological. You have to think about that. And MM2 is more conceptual. And then we have OB2, organizational behavior. In first term we also studied, I think I missed in the first term OB. So organization behavior is a little psychological in nature. Like you will learn about cases and about managers and how they're behaving if something is changing. So this is more like, again, very psychological, no like rocket science or something very difficult to do. um, then we have OM2, operations part 2. You will get into more detail of the operations that we studied in the first term. Again, supply chain based. Then we have SM1 was one of my favorite subject. It was strategy management. So in this also, like it's a very interesting subjects. You learn about Porter's five forces and how a company designs its strategies. So the professor, they pushes you a lot to think in different ways, and it just brings a finer version of you. So and we also have REP, which is Rural Engagement Program. I also made a video on that. If you want, you can check out on my channel. So in this, it is also a very less credit course, but they send you to a village, a local village in Madhya Pradesh, and you have to live the life of them. Uh, and understand like what grassroots problems those communities are facing in the country, because we live in a very la la land here. So yeah. So that was all about term 2. I think this video is getting very big, so I'll just quickly take you to the term 3 subjects. You might understand by the topics what it is, and if you want, you can just do more research on it. So the term 1 of the subject were design thinking, uh, finance 2. So in first term we learned about finance 1, and fin 2 it was more valuation based, and you learn about valuation and all. And then you have SM2, strategy management 2. It's again a very interesting subjects, and you learn about new ways to solve problems and how you solve a case study. And then HRM is basically human resource management. So people interested in HR roles, so they learn about the life cycle of an employee in the company and a lot of things around the human resources. And next we have lab, legal aspect of business. So there is, if people with law background, lawyers or judges and someone like that would have edge over this, because you learn about new clauses and all. So it's again, but in the business perspective. And then we have leadership session. It's a second year course, but we had some sessions, and again in that we learn about some great leaders who have changed the world, and leaders who like future leaders. They are preparing us to become future leaders. And then the next subject we have SIP, which is sustainability in practice. Again, in the perspective of sustainability, how a business can balance its financial growth as well as sustainable, and taking into consideration nature and environment. um, Next, we have four electives in this subject, in which every student have to choose two out of it. So the electives were like SCM, supply chain management, MR, marketing research, and FIM, financial management again, and SDM, sales and distribution management. So I chose SCM and SDM. Why? Because supply chain, I find it very interesting, the first two terms. So it was something new that I haven't studied before, and I think I was pretty like decent and doing good in that subject, so I choose them. And then there, SDM, it's sales and distribution management. It is again a little mathematical, but you learn about the case study of sales company and how they're managing sales in like uh, we have studied a case on Greece, also in India, a local town in India. So the variety of the cases that you study is like vast. So again, uh, it was a very interesting subject. And then we have MR, people interested in marketing and research. So it was a very good subject for them. And film, again, I was a little scared with film because no film background, so I couldn't select that. But it was an interesting subject overall. So if you have any doubt, you can ask in the comments. I'll try my best to answer them. And I hope this video was useful to you, and give it a thumbs up and like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.